Graham Foreman here at the Indie Spirit Awards. We're talking about the feeling that the time for doing something has passed. Talk to me about writing your first screenplay.
Well, I mainly was excited to draw on my own experience to explore a kind of personal humor that I hoped would relate to other people. Mainly like in showing someone wrestling with their sexuality, relationships and sense of self, and hoping that, I feel like we all do that in some way. So I thought it would be something that could connect to other people.
Intimacy is an interesting thing in writing, right? You can explain something, but then you can also over-explain something, and that's so true with dialogue. Talk to me a little bit about that experience of not over-writing your first screenplay and why that worked out so well.
Well, I have been interested in concise humor for a long time, and so I was interested in writing a lot of very short scenes, just like 2 or 3 lines, and seeing how much you can get out of something. Like you kind of cut to the chase a little bit when something is that condensed, and so it was exciting to me to explore that form.
What's the best piece of advice that you've been given evolving as an artist?
Well, I only took one screenwriting class with Mark Baumbach, and he said it was really lovely. He was like, if you're having all these people spend time and money on a film, because any film involves some sort of time and money commitment. If you're involving all these people, you better make it interesting. So I think that was a nice piece of advice that I got.
People have talked about the idea that your movie, too, is its best version sometimes when it's on this page because it's the version of it that you imagined. How's it been to watch what you imagined come to life? And do you think the final product is better than what you imagined?
I'm just so grateful that I was able to work with this talented cast and crew and people like producer Graham Swan here, working with limited resources to bring this to life. And yeah, I was lucky to be able to do that.
Graham, you've been on this journey with Joanna. Talk to me about watching her kind of evolve and seeing the film grow and what it's been like from your perspective.
I mean, I think from like the first time I read the script, and I obviously had seen Joanna's previous work before, so I knew she was an amazing filmmaker, but I think the script had like so many ideas packed into such a tight space that was also still so funny, like was so like amusing and exciting. And for me, I had never really done a comedy before, like a real comedy as a producer. So one of the great pleasures for me was to get to see how funny it was, both the act of shooting it and the act of editing it. And I mean, it was funny because, of course, when you're making an independent film, there's always all these limitations. And I know, like, in pre-production, I was sometimes trying to tell Joanna, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this or we can reduce this. And she would say, like, but we don't know, like, I don't know exactly what will be funny or how yet. And she was, like, so correct. Like, everything she fought to keep, like, I was so surprised watching, like, how things popped differently on the page or in the film. So I mean, it's, for me, always a pleasure to watch it again and like see all these ideas coming out of it. So,
curious for both of you, how do you see the future of filmmaking? What do you think is the next big challenge for us? What are you thinking about? It's on Graham.
I mean, the next big challenge. I think the next big challenge for independent filmmaking is the same big challenge that independent filmmaking's pretty much faced since its inception, which is where to find the money to make the films. No, I think the economy of it has never been good and is arguably getting worse. So, I mean, I'm curious to see, I sometimes feel like that we're at a little bit of a moment where the old systems are breaking down a bit in the way that maybe they did like in the 60s at the end of the studio era. And I'm not quite sure what will happen, but I'm kind of curious because something will emerge from the current economic shifts happening in film, but I don't know what they'll be yet. So, and hopefully we can figure out a way to continue making films regardless of what they are.